Okay, here's the port settee again, reprise. So we set the back over about 7 inches, and that creates a 24-inch bunk at the bottom, which is comfortably wide enough to lie down in without having to squeeze in. Sitting in it is a little long, but when it's got cushions on it, the seat back cushion I think will make it feel a little bit more normal. It reduces the amount of storage under it. This is now about 18 inches deep here. Of course, it's different down at the bottom. The seat back is about 7 inches closer to the edge at the bottom, so that would give us 25, except that the hull is also curving inward. So I think it's roughly 1.5 feet deep. We're still going to put our dividers here and here-ish. The final spot is really thin now. There's not a whole lot that would make sense to keep in there, but it does give us access to some wiring. So I'm probably going to still put a cutout in there, there. And again, we will be putting a cutout in here to get access to the water tank. And on this side over here, there is actually some space that we can use for storage. This piece here is a scrap that we're patching in, so there's going to be some plywood gussets underneath, and we'll epoxy the 2 sheets of plywood together with a piece of fiberglass tape on top, so that's nice and strong. But when you hook everything together, each piece lends its rigidity in plane to the other piece that's having a hard time holding up to those forces, and it ends up being pretty good. Nice and strong, even with very few screws in it. So I think this is probably the final shape for this stuff. We'll take it back out to do the pieces, the dividers and the patch at the bottom. But other than that, that's what it's going to look like. There will be a piece of mahogany across the top as a lip on that shelf. And I think we're going to trim the back edge with mahogany and the sides with mahogany to create sort of a closed tray that things can't fall out of. And then, of course, we've got our upper cabinetry that you can see the line here. This is the bottom end of the cabinetry. So there'll be a cabinet here and a shelf here and another cabinet over here. Again, skinnier, but still worthwhile. So this will be like books and stuff. And then down here will be whatever, sort of a catch-all area, I think. The opposite side is sort of a basket case right now. Same basic idea, except there's a table that will occupy this area, and the seating is C-shaped or U-shaped, depending on how you're standing around that table. So the seat back is set back a bunch, and there's very little usable space on the forward end, relatively larger space on the back end, but not as large as the port side. So, and that's the next step after the port side's done. Okay, that's it for now.